afternoon, friends. It's showtime. What an incredible lineup of speakers we've had here today. I'd like to recognize all the speakers. If you were a speaker today, will you please stand? And also, if you were an event organizer, please stand and let's give everyone a round of applause. Now, during this 50-minute speech, there will be some interactive things that we do. And we're going to start with something that's just a little physical. Not too much, because I don't want any of the tacos to start coming out. But if you have any knee pain or lower back pain, you can choose not to participate in this. Like I said, this is very minimal. So if I can have everyone stand up. This technique is called Qigong, and it's an ancient Chinese technique which will help you focus and listen better during long speeches. There's 3 parts here. What we're going to do first is you're going to stand very wide and you're just going to rock back and forth. That's it. Very simple. Get the blood flowing through your leg muscles, through the quads, hamstrings, glutes. Good. Get the blood circulating. This is what we need when we sit down all the time during these long speeches. The second part of this will involve a lot of different body parts. You're going to start tapping different body parts. We're starting with the quads. Good. Go to the hamstrings. Work your way up slowly. Good. Okay, out. Move up to the lower back. Good. Tap, 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 tap. This is waking up your central nervous system. Go to the left hand. Good. Move on up slowly. Work your way up, work your way up, work your way up to the shoulder. Proud of yourself. Thank you for being here. Switch sides. Good. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Now, with your fingers, just lightly tap the back of your neck. Lightly. Go to the top of the head. Go to the face. The central nervous system is woken. Good. Part 3. Comfortable stance. You're just going to slightly bounce up and down while you take deep breaths. This is where we oxygenize the body. Oxygen gives us energy, will help us focus better. Just 10 more seconds of this. Feel your lungs. Beautiful. Okay, give yourself a round of applause and have a seat, please. This is called Qigong. And today we will be talking about neuro-linguistic programming and flow state. Chances are that you are here because professional development and public speaking is very important to you. You might have certain goals where you incorporate public speaking and professional development. This will build up your confidence and help you reach your goals. Professional development and public speaking walk hand in hand. Now, over the last few years, I have spent a very large amount of money traveling, going to workshops, going to seminars, investing in coaches, and certifications. And what I want to share with you all today is some of the techniques that I've used to really build up my confidence and excel my public speaking in a very fast amount of time. Does that sound good? Yes. Okay. Now, what is neuro-linguistic programming? It basically means that I can read your mind. I'm just kidding. NLP is a modeling approach that offers a toolkit of techniques dealing with life's opportunities and challenges. Simply put, it is the science of excellence. A lot of us learn through acronyms, so I've put an acronym here for you. Neuro refers to neurology, the connections that you create inside of your mind. Linguistic refers to language, the way we communicate, and those of us who are part of Toastmasters understand how important this is in building relationships and reaching our goals. Programming refers to functions, what you've learned from your past experiences and how it shapes your life. NLP is like learning the language of your mind. Raise your hand if you know who this gentleman is. This right here, actually, who is this?
Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins is one of the world's highest paid speakers and coaches. His coaching costs a couple of $1 million a year. He coaches presidents and world leaders. But Tony is an expert neuro-linguistic practitioner. So for you right here, I have a quote that he said, let's read this out loud. The game that we play in life is going to be determined by just how well we play the inner game. Tony, we're going to listen to you. Thank you. In life, we all have problems. We've always had problems, and we're going to continue to have problems. But what are the 3 types of problems we have? You either don't have what you want right now. Number 2, you're not getting what you want right now. Or number 3, you simply don't know how to get it. Which brings me to the concept of the 5th season. Right now, we are in fall. There's 4 seasons, of course: fall, winter, spring, and summer. And just like the seasons of life, there's seasons that are comparable to your life. Right now, you are in your own season. And imagine where you want to be in the future. That is your next season, possibly. Sometimes we have the time to plan for our next season, but sometimes we might be forced to go into a new season depending on a family emergency or life circumstances. You're forced, and you are forced to grow. But the growth happens in something we call, in Neuro-Linguistic Programming, the 5th season. Now today you saw it quickly rain. And in times of change, especially in seasons, when we went from summer to fall, there are a few weeks in between where we have no idea how to dress. It might be really hot outside. It might be cold outside. It might be rainy. It might be foggy here in South Carolina, in Columbia. We don't know how to prepare. And because of that, we might be caught off guard. But it's in this 5th season that when you are uncomfortable, you grow. Now, in life, like I said, we all have goals and we kind of see where we want to be. But some people stay in the 5th season too long because they don't know how to get to the season they want to be at. Sometimes they might even stay in their old season for a very long time, where they never reach the next season. So how do you get to your next season and save time? In NLP, we have something called anchoring. It is the power of association. The goal is to be aware of things that you've never been aware of before. This involves visualization. Clearly looking at your goals, where you want to be, spending time, your own time looking at it. And what I'd like to do is, instead of explaining this, have a volunteer come up. Now, a lot of speakers came up to me and said, I recommend that you pick someone ahead of time so this goes smooth. Talk to someone ahead of time. But I truly believe that there is someone here that was meant for this, that was meant to be my volunteer for this. And It will happen because it's supposed to. It's the best possible case scenario. All this involves is you joining me on stage and talking about where you want to be. If you are an entrepreneur, if you just started a new career or a new endeavor, are you volunteering? We have a volunteer. Here it is. Hey, what's your name?
Yvette.
Yvette?
Yvette.
Yvette.
Yes.
Okay, let's see. There we go. Everyone give it up for Yvette one more time. Yvette, please have a seat. Is your microphone on?
Yes.
Testing, testing. Can everyone hear Yvette?
Yes.
Okay. Yvette, thank you for volunteering.
You're welcome.
Now, what I want you to do is just sit back on the chair and relax. And what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you to actually close your eyes because we're going to take away one of the senses so you can focus better, okay? I want you to take a couple of deep breaths. Go ahead and take about 5 deep breaths. Feel the breath going through your nose, down your throat, expanding your lungs, and back out. Every breath you're breathing in confidence. You're exhaling any stress that you have in your body. Breathe in clarity. Breathe out stress. Relax your body. Good. And actually, I'm going to take this microphone so you can fully relax. Yvette, what I want you to do is with your eyes closed, picture this room. Picture where you're sitting. Picture where I'm sitting. Picture all these beautiful people watching you right now. And I want you to actually imagine stepping out of your body and taking 3 steps back where you feel even more relaxed now. Now, I'm going to hold the microphone up to your mouth so everyone can hear you. And I want you to tell everyone, in the best possible case scenario, what do you see in your future?
I see in my future, I am out in the world, assisting, leading, guiding people in a positive way, talking to them, to encourage them to love themselves, and push, no matter what they go through, because there's always a light at the end of the darkness.
That is beautiful of that. And part of that is visualizing it and explaining it and you taking action. So congratulations for actually volunteering. That is the first step. Now let's get even more serious with it. Let's go even deeper with it. What is your professional career called? What are you doing? How are you helping these people?
I am helping these people. I am a licensed cosmetology instructor, a motivated speaker, a hairstylist, and I have a foundation called Strength of a Woman, and that consists of having workshops to explain to the ladies to love yourself first. No matter what come your way, I would assist them in any need that a woman would need. It's about self, loving themselves, guiding them in the right direction, knowing their worth, because they have so much worth, so much more than what they think.
That's very good. That's good stuff. Now, imagine you are that person. I want you to travel to the future where you are that leader. You are that motivational speaker. You're helping so many people. You're bringing value to them. You're inspiring them, changing their life for the good. You're using your skills. In the best possible case scenario, how long will it take realistically for you to achieve that? What year is this?
2019.
This year?
Yes.
2019. Okay.
But what was I missing?
So you becoming this speaker and this business owner and stepping into those shoes of that leader that you are in the future, what year is that for you?
That'd probably be 2024.
2024. And where do you live?
I live here in Columbia.
You live in Colombia in 2024?
Say it one more.
Where will you live in 2024?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but I have plans.
Okay, so do you have a team of people?
Right now, I do, yes.
And this is all for we're looking at the future right now. So step into the event of the future.
Okay.
Do you have your own office?
Not yet.
In the future, will you have your own office?
Yes.
What color are the walls in the office?
The colors on the wall are like a caramel color.
Okay. What about any particular smells in your office that bring comfort to you?
Like soft smells, maybe. What's the purple one?
Lavender. I'm guessing a lot of people in here love lavender. Beautiful. Now, Yvette, take a second and imagine that leader that you are in 2024. I want you to tell me a couple of the skills that that leader has and has developed. What do you represent? What are some characteristics that you have as a leader then?
I would definitely encourage them. I would definitely, it's about loving self.
Right.
That's what I'm about, loving self, knowing your worth, looking in the mirror, not just see yourself, look at yourself.
Yes.
From head to toe, eye to eye, identifying the person that's in the mirror.
Yes, and the Yvette in 2024, is she a phenomenal public speaker?
She's a phenomenal.
Is she a phenomenal business leader?
Yes, all the way, 100%.
Okay. Now, I want you to look at the Yvette sitting here right now. What type of skills, what does she need to do in order to develop those skills, in order to become that business leader, that public speaker? What does she need to do from now until 2014 that should be a priority for you to become that best version of yourself?
Continue with Toastmasters, become a nonprofit organization, and have my team that's going to help me be consistent with what we have. And continue to train, continue to do to make me better.
Yes. Sounds like you have a good idea now. Now I want you to slowly relax, keep your eyes closed. Move your toes a little bit, move your fingers around a little bit, and imagine stepping back into your physical body. And you may open your eyes whenever you feel ready. Good. Everyone, give her a round of applause real quick. So Yvette, how do you feel right now?
I feel a little shy right now.
But how did it?
People look at.
But this is part of the step of becoming that leader and that public speaker. Look at this; it feels incredible, and these people all have the best intentions for you. There's unconditional love in this room. Okay? Do you feel like you are a little bit more clear on some of the steps you need to take in order to be where you need to be?
No.
Not even stepping into the future you 2024?
Yeah, that I was clear.
Okay.
But I could have, I guess, explained it more.
That's fine, and this is what, you'll have plenty of time to do this, but taking the time to actually do this is a lot of people have certain goals, but they don't take the time, and they may need to work with coaches to guide them through this, to help them envision, because when you envision this, you are priming your brain for success and for where you want to be, where your brain will literally pick out the right people in the right situations for you to achieve the things that you need to achieve. Thank you.
I can see it and visualize it. Like I have a big house for women. Each room I have their own name. Like forgiveness,
Yes.
loving self, confidence, worth, everything gonna have a name, everything gonna have a color
Beautiful.
to identify them. And conference free.
Yes. And we know that you should spend the next couple of years to focus on public speaking and leadership, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, that is an example of a life anchoring technique. And when we take the time to do this, you will find that you are more clear on what steps to take in order to achieve your goals. And it will be easier to say yes to the things that you need to say yes to, and no to the things that are actually slowing you down in your life. Now, through my coaching, what I do with my clients is we actually spend a great deal of time looking at life balance. And in life, these are the main categories that we focus on through Neuro-Linguistic Programming. You have 24 hours every day. You go to work, and you might have a little bit of free time. But depending on how much responsibility you have, it might be vital that you know what area you should be focusing on, what area will help you achieve the results that you're looking for. What if you're spending time in the wrong area? What area will help you get the best results? And this is what I do with my clients. We spend a lot of time breaking each one of these areas down. Now, what I'd like to do for you is, since you are here, actually give you the PDF that I work with my clients for absolutely free. It is a PDF workbook that will break down all the life balance categories. You'll be able to rate yourself and see what categories you can improve on and what categories you're doing great on. Well, Michael right here will pass around an email, and by doing this, you are signing up for my email list where I will send all kinds of NLP information and information on my coaching. But like I said, you'll get the free workbook PDF. Next, in Neuro-Linguistic, we have something called preferred learning systems. We all have a preferred way that we learn. We have visual learners. We have auditory learners. We have kinesthetic learners. And we have digital learners. Let's break down some of these categories. Visual learners, of course, learn best through eyesight, what they see in this world. Visual learners like to pay very particular attention to how they dress. They see how other people dress. They might compliment other people, and it's very important to them how their home looks. These type of people love reading books. Raise your hand if you love reading books, and wow. Next up, we have auditory learners, people that learn best by listening and asking questions. Auditory learners get easily distracted by noise, and they love learning from audiobooks and podcasts. Raise your hand if you love audiobooks and podcasts. All right. Now, most of my life, I realized that I was an auditory learner. I learned much faster auditory, but after taking the neuro-linguistic test on this, I found out that I actually might have a preferred learning system that is even better for me at learning. Let's go look at the other two. Kinesthetic learners, they relate best by feelings, by emotion, and they have a high sense of body awareness. I see some people shaking their heads. They're like, that's me. Kinesthetic learners learn best by doing, action, moving, touching. And that's one thing we do in Toastmasters. We're forced to learn by public speaking, facing our fear. Digital learners, this is a new category for NLP. Digital learners learn and memorize details by sequences and procedures. They like rules, logic, and processes. Digital learners spend so much time talking to themselves. And now, right now, you have two preferred learning styles. Raise your hand if you think that you are a visual learner. Look around the room. Great. Raise your hand if you're an auditory. Okay. Raise your hand if you're a kinesthetic learner. And this was actually my highest category. And raise your hand if you're a digital. To my surprise, this was my second highest category. So I learn best by kinesthetic and digital, not auditory. And this is another thing that I do with my clients is go and take them through this PDF and we work out what their two best learning systems are. Why is it important to learn this, especially for yourself? Because you will be able to actually start learning material much faster and retaining information by picking different types of things that you study depending on your preferred learning system. But this goes so much deeper through neuro-linguistic programming. Some of the world's best NLP practitioners like Tony Robbins, he can literally talk to you and within meeting you for a few seconds, just by looking at your eyes and the way you're breathing, understand what kind of learner you are. So today I want to show you one example that you can all start to practice this, because the more and more you practice this, the better you're going to be. So here's one example. Let's say I'm talking to you. If I'm talking to you, Charles, and you agree with something that I say, if you are a visual learner and you agree with me, you might say, I see what you're saying. What about an auditory learner? You guys are so smart. Douglas had another one. What is it? Sounds good to me. Perfect. What about kinesthetic learners? I feel you. What about the digital one? Digital? That makes sense because you like rules. Now here's the importance of this. Relationships are everything when it comes to you achieving your goals, your life balance, your happiness, your success. And by actually being conscious of this, when you start talking to people and realize what their preferred learning style is, you can actually start to create sentences and the way you speak to match their preferred learning style. Why? Because you will be able to vibe with them faster. You will be able to build that connection with them faster. And if you do that, you're going to build trust, which trust is the ultimate thing that we're looking for when it comes to relationships. Now, it's time for another interactive session. This is the alphabet game. The alphabet game helps an individual enter into a high-performance state. This game can be used to prepare yourself or a client. Now, this is what I'm talking about. Let's say I'm about to have an online session over the phone or over Zoom with one of my clients, but they show up to the session and they're extremely emotional. That means I'm going to have to take a lot of time to actually relax them so I can focus on the work that I need to do with them. But this is an example of a technique that we can do right away to help them get focused. The alphabet game is just like simultaneously activates various areas of the brain and is comparable to juggling 3 colored balls and naming the one that reaches the top on each throw. How is that even possible? Well, here is the alphabet game. So for this, one more time, I'm going to ask you to stand up. Now, I'm going to have to break one of the Toastmasters golden rules, which is never turn your back on an audience. I'm sorry. But in order to do this with you, we're going to have to do this. So there's 3 parts when it comes to this. The first part is, you see under each letter of the alphabet, there is an L, an R, or a T. L stands for left arm. R stands for right arm. T stands for together. What we're going to do is read the alphabet 1 letter at a time while you actually use your limbs at the same time. So give each other some space. We don't want anyone to get hurt here. We're going to start on 3 with A. Ready, set, go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Good. Stay standing up. Okay, now, one important thing to note for this, it doesn't matter if you get it right. All that matters is that you're actually doing this. Because when you're doing this, you can't think of the past problems you have. You can't focus on the future. It involves so much brain functioning that you have to focus on this right now. Now, we're going to start with Z and go up. And here we go in 3, 2, 1. Z, Y, X, W, V, T, S, R, Q, P, O, N, M, L, K, J, I, H, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. Beautiful. We got one more part. It is doable. How can we make this even more difficult now? Now we're going to add an extra limb. So if you're looking at Z, for Z I'm supposed to say Z and raise my right arm, right? You're supposed to lift up the opposite foot, Z. Oh, my. Okay, for the T, you actually lift up on both of your feet. Okay? So the opposite limb. Okay. Are you ready? Yes. Okay, here we go. We're going to do this backwards from Z. Ready, set, go. Z, Y, X, W, V, U, T, S, R, Q, P, L, N, M, L, K, J, I, H, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. Please have a seat. And now it's time to move on to the second section, which is talking about cloudy brain and flow state. Cloudy brain. Have you ever felt like there's like a little fog in your brain, foggy brain, where you can't focus like you need to, you can't pay attention, your words are not coming out right, you're not articulating you're supposed to, your memory's not that good? Say that one more time.
It's called ventilation.
And here are some of the characteristics that come with cloudy brain. A lot of the stuff that I just mentioned: fatigue, forgetfulness, poor memory, just overall decreased mental performance. What are the main causes of cloudy brain? So here is one of the negative thoughts when it comes to cloudy brain. And one thing that I will tell you with this is, an example is when I did my first speech in Toastmasters, we call it the icebreaker speech. Usually in the icebreaker, people talk about their life. You have 6 minutes to talk about your life. And let me tell you something, it feels like it's the longest 6 minutes of your life. I was a mess. I went out in front of my club, and by the way, it was in Douglas's Saturday AM and Totland's Saturday AM club. They are phenomenal speakers. The first time I went there and I was around these professionals, my heart was about to jump out my chest. I signed up to do my icebreaker, and I had so many thoughts in my head. What if you forget what you're going to say? You don't compare it to them. Why should you be standing up? And guess what? you are priming yourself for failure. You are priming yourself for cloudy brain with those negative thoughts. Okay? So one thing that we want to do is fix our way of thinking, and I'll go into that in just a little bit. But the negative thoughts create stress. The negative thoughts make your brain release cortisol, which is the stress hormone. And it does take a certain amount of time for that to happen. We can battle that. Poor sleep can 100% lead to cloudy brain. Usually you want to get between 7 to 8 hours of sleep for you to be at your best. But that can range. One interesting thing with me is I used to exercise all the time. And I would require about 8 hours of sleep in order to feel my best. But a couple of years ago, I actually injured myself so bad that I have a herniated disc to where I can't even exercise the way I want to anymore. And I found out, since I'm not breaking down my body, I actually am good with about 6 hours of sleep. So it depends what your day looks like. Poor nutritional intake and gut health. If you eat a lot of fast food, if you eat a lot of processed foods, you might have cloudy brain. If you start eating a lot of vegetables, fruit, a clean diet that works with your body, then you will probably start avoiding cloudy brain and start fighting it. Gut health. I went to school at USC Carolina, and there was a professor that specialized in gut health. He said the gut is our second brain. If you have the right bacteria in your brain, you're less likely to have negative thoughts and depression. What are some foods that can improve the gut biome? Probiotics, such as kombucha, kimchi. Anything else stand up? Yogurt. That's right. Bulgarian yogurt. Inactivity can lead to cloudy brain. Sitting down all the time. And mindless activities, something that just requires you sitting down and looking at a screen, watching videos, watching TV. Have you ever watched TV for a couple of hours and then try to do a task that requires a lot of mental focus? Cloudy brain. Now let's talk about the opposite of cloudy brain. This is where you want to be. This is what you want to start mastering, especially when it comes to things like this, to public speaking, to networking, to business conferences, to moments that are vital to your life. Because if you are in flow state in these moments, you will guarantee success. Flow state is optimal human performance. Living in the moment effortlessly by following your intuition. This is something called mindfulness. You're not focused on the past. You're not focused on the future. You're in the moment right now. Everyone has different techniques that work for them. We're all different learners. We all have different genetics. We all come from different backgrounds. What works for me may not work for you. But I want to share with you what has worked for me. I was able to go to the district finals this year. And something that I do before speeches is I have a routine of a checklist of things that I do to make sure I'm in that flow state before I speak. So this is what we're going to talk about right now. Quality sleep. We talked about that earlier. Very important that you get that good sleep. Another thing that I like to do is I make sure I use blue light protection glasses if I'm working on a computer or looking at a monitor before I go to sleep, which will help me fall asleep faster. Hydration for the vocal cords. Your vocal cords are like muscles. In order for the muscles to get stronger and grow, you have to exercise and eat right and sleep. What about the vocal cords? If you're a speaker, how much have you focused on your vocal cords? Well, it's very important that you keep them healthy with hydration. Before I go to a big speaking event, I make sure I drink a few, 3 to 4 glasses of water. Today I've probably had like 5 water bottles. And guess what? Right now, I don't even have dry mouth. I'm good. My voice is not cracking, is it? It's because I hydrated. It's very important how well you hydrate. Vocal cord training exercises. There are So many free tutorials on YouTube. While I was driving here, it took me 15 minutes to get here this morning. I went on YouTube. I wasn't looking at it, I promise. I just set it on my phone, and I went along with the YouTube tutorial and warmed up my vocal cords with a guided tutorial. There's so many different sources on YouTube that when you do this, you will feel your vocal cords get deeper. You will be able to speak better. You'll be able to pronounce stuff better. And it even releases endorphins. So you'll feel good. Music. Do something that you love right before you have a big speaking engagement or before you go into flow state. For me, the types of music that work really well for me is I resonate with Native American music and especially Native American drums. So I might play that through headphones or in my car, and it really makes me feel good and it releases adrenaline. And speaking of adrenaline, haka. Does anyone know what country haka originates from? Yeah. New Zealand. New Zealand. This is a performance by, it used to be from the Warriors, but now you can see it in front of many rugby games, basketball games, wherever it may be. Professional athletes will do that to intimidate their opponents and tap and do all kinds of crazy things. But if you've never seen this, Google that on YouTube, haka, and see how emotional you get when you hear this. See how much adrenaline is released. Visualization meditations, brain plasticity. What you saw with the anchoring technique, that was a visualization. What Tatlin showed today, that was a visualization. She took us through it. The most important thing you need to understand about visualization meditations is that if you take the time to actually do this, your brain changes in the moment. Brain plasticity. You are physically changing the structure of your brain, and by doing this, you're focusing on the positive. Did you know that most people, the average person, 80% of their thoughts are negative throughout the day? Do you realize how much you're slowing yourself down by thinking that? But if you're conscious of that process, if you realize, hey, maybe that's stemming from something from my past, maybe there's unresolved trauma, what do I need to work out? These thoughts aren't really me. Is this serving me right now? If you switch it up, let's say 80% of your thoughts become positive. Imagine how much more efficient you can be. This is one of the most important ones. I learned this through a woman called Mel Robbins. Okay? Mel Robbins developed the 5-second technique. And let's say you have a negative thought. Let's say you're procrastinating. And especially right before you speak, the last couple of minutes right before you speak, that's when all the stress hits you. That's when all the doubts hit you. And you start judging yourself. When you catch those thoughts is when you want to use the 5-second rule. And this is what it is. As soon as you catch, what if I mess up? What if I forget? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you want to have a word of intention. What is your word of intention? What is your affirmation word? Is it, I am confident? You got this. For me, it's, I am charismatic. You know, I look at speakers like Kevin Hart, like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and I see just how entertaining they are and how much charisma and energy and electricity they bring as public speakers. So I envision myself having that. So if I have a moment where I say, oh, what if I mess up? Or what if you're not good enough? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I am charismatic. And you're turning that negative thought into something positive right away. And guess what? By doing that, you are stopping your brain from releasing the hormones to take the physical effects of stress. That is the key to this. If you catch yourself and are conscious of this process, you will stop cortisol from releasing. My friends, I love using social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok. My friend Lefford Fate came up to me today and he said, I want you to do a speech on how to use social media, how to use Instagram, where you take action on that. I promise that I will develop a few speeches on that, focusing on next year. So I urge you to please connect with me. If you want to learn how to use social media better, if you want to just get in touch with me, please get to know me through social media. And the last thing I want to ask all of you is, this is actually, I'm in my 5th season right now, okay? This is my first 50-minute speech. So one thing that I've wanted to do all of my life, this is actually one of the best days of my life, because I look in the crowd and I see friends, I see clients, I see my parents that surprise me that are here right now. So please stand up. Please stand up. Come and join me. Come and join me. One thing that I've always wanted to do is capture a crowd full of electricity, full of inspiration, all saying something at the same time, and capture it with a selfie. So what better moment to do this right now when I will post this on Instagram. So let's face this way. So this is what we're going to do. Last time I asked you to stand up one more time. What we're going to do is 3 times we're going to say, live life fully. Live, not yet. Okay, so here we go. So face this, look right here. Okay. In 3, 2, 1. Live life fully. Live life fully. Live life fully. Woo! Thank you very much, everyone.